Yep.
And boom, we're live. Hello, Josh Lee.
Oh, hello, Joseph.
So, Josh is a man who does not have a bio, apparently, so I can't say much about him.
Yeah, bios are people that are accomplished.
You are accomplished, sir. You may not believe this, but you are. So I
Yeah,
actually met.
that's
So Josh and I met many years ago. I think it was either 5 years ago or 6 years ago. So right after I moved out here, um, the band that he plays with, Eldrin, was looking for.
Joe.
Yeah. What?
Joe.
Yes. Can you hear me? Oh no! What a way to
Wait, there you go.
what a way to start
There
us
you go.
off.
Oh,
Did you
there it
lose
is.
me? Okay.
I did for a second.
Yeah. Anyway, so you and I met. I ended up playing with Eldrin, your band that you for you guys were doing a cover show of Abbey Road by the Beatles,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that was a fantastic experience. Yeah. Anyway, and that was when I learned that Josh Lee is a fucking monster. You are a
Oh,
murderer on the violin.
I mean, I am a monster, but not in a good way.
You say that. Josh Lee is a big teddy bear full of hugs and sunshine.
Oh, stop it.
He is. He's a good guy. But yeah, dude, how have you
Um,
been? How have you been since the fucking world caught on fire and it all ended?
um, you know, just trying to stay alive. Trying to trying my best not to go insane. Like pretty much 70% of what I would do on my spare time, or like, just 70% of my personal time spending, obviously doing music and stuff like that, just gone.
Yeah.
And I'm bartender on the side. I can't even really do that anymore.
Mm.
So yeah, world has been flipped upside down, just like I imagine, like everybody else has. Um, and yeah, just trying to adjust and trying to keep sane.
Mm-hmm. I feel that.
How about you, man?
I feel that. Well, it's I don't know. It's been interesting because this, um, a lot. Like, I mean, I lost. I mean, I obviously lost a lot of work from gigs and things like that.
Mhm.
But the teaching all went online, and it was really weird at first. But I'm adjusting. It's really hard not being in a room with somebody,
Yeah.
especially kid, and being able to play along with them. That's like
Oh yeah.
super important. But it's actually super convenient to not like have to drive all the time.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's ups and downs. I mean, my sister and her husband, they're music teachers too, and they've had to give lessons during the pandemic over Zoom and stuff like that. So I've been around it, and
Mm,
it doesn't sound fun just because there's that latency and you can't play along with them, like you said.
yeah.
Um, so I feel like pain, but at the same time, you don't have to go anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I was driving. Well, I moved now, but at the time I was living down near the DU area, and I was
Mm-hmm.
driving sometimes to Lakewood, sometimes to Highlands Ranch, sometimes from Highlands Ranch to Lakewood, and I was fill up my tank every like 3 or 4 days, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And I never realized how much money I was spending. Plus it's convenient where like I have a lesson in 30 minutes. Okay, I can really quick. I make myself a sandwich or something.
Yeah, yeah,
Whereas previously I have less than 30 minutes, shit, I'm late, right? I'm not
yeah,
gonna get there in time,
exactly. And
And
that
I can,
young Denver traffic.
yeah. Oh my god, dude, yeah, I don't miss the traffic. I
Uh-uh.
don't I don't miss I don't miss having to spend almost an hour to go 9 miles.
Dude, that
It's
shit drove
ridiculous,
me insane.
absolutely ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
Everyone who's coming to Denver just because you want to smoke weed, come on, man,
I
do
mean,
better.
dog, they got weed everywhere.
Go to California. Go to California.
Yeah. I'm sure ours is better, but weed is weed.
Yeah, I kind of miss oh, you know what? This is great because wasn't the first topic drugs? Yes, it was. All
Yes,
right,
it was.
so we're
Yeah.
we're on track. I
I
feel
told
like
people we're gonna talk about music, but I lied.
yeah, music is just a cover. It's just a cover.
Yeah,
Just a cover.
exactly.
The music is just it's a way to rationalize and justify being a pothead.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
That cello in the background is just for show, right?
Oh yeah, no, that's just
Yeah.
No, I don't play that. It's all deep. You see a video of me, it's deep fake. I actually never touched it. But I kind of, I don't know, man. I don't really like the whole like weed scene in Colorado. I mean, on the one hand, like the potency wars are freaking stupid. I don't want to get like, I don't want to, blast off of one little hit. I just want to get cozy and watch a movie or something,
Yeah.
and all this stuff, 35%, and they're pushing it so hard. Like you walk in, you're like, I want something to help me go to sleep. This thing is 37.5%. It's like, dude, that's gonna drive me insane. And I've tried some
right. It's like, where do you like? At what point do you draw the line between weed and just straight up heroin?
I mean,
because some of these like live resins, like you take a hit and you forget who you are.
I remember the first time I did a dab. I watched half of a season of South Park.
Oh my god!
And it was over like that. My buddy comes in and he's like, "Dude, you okay? You've been on the couch for like 3 hours." I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, you watched an entire disc of South Park." I was like, "I did."
Jesus.
It's like, so where was I? So what was the point? What's the point?
Exactly.
But
I mean, I'm a dab guy myself. I'm definitely sort of a victim of this like mega high potency weed culture in Colorado, because I'm like, I keep going up and up and up, right? I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try this with like 38% potency. Now I'm gonna try dabs. Now I'm gonna try edibles, and dabs are cheaper to do, but yeah, I definitely feel like I smoke way too much.
Yeah. I mean, if you can handle it, but I can't handle it. I've never been able to. Every time I've tried the super high potency stuff, it's just toasted my ass. I'm done.
Oh, it's for grown men.
I can't even talk. Yeah, it is for grown men, Josh Lee. I'm a little baby. No, I can't.
It's
even
for grown men and drug addicts like me.
I can't. You're gonna start mainlining. You're gonna fucking melt the gummy bear edible in a spoon and just mainline that shit in your arm.
Yeah, exactly. Just fucking shoot it on my veins.
I miss having a guy, cause like, shout out to Nate. Not
Is that your guy?
Not his real name, by the way. Not his real name, but shout out to Nate. Nate, I knew Nate when I was in college. God, I hope my parents don't listen to this. I knew Nate when I was in college, and Nate was a buddy of a buddy, and eventually, he and I became friends, and we would go. It wasn't like I'm just gonna stop by and he drops me a baggie and then I leave. It was like, we're gonna hang out. Here's a brownie. I'd hang out with a cat. We'd watch Tool videos, or movies, or we talk about whatever, anything. And it was like, if I had to get weed, it was like, cool, I'm also gonna go hang out with my friend. And sometimes I'd just go hang out with him and I wouldn't buy anything,
Right.
But now it's like you walk in, it's a store, and it's like, are you being nice to me because you're a pothead and potheads are supposed to be nice, or are you being nice to me because you're trying to sell me shit? And it's like,
yeah,
I'm not saying that everyone who's nice to you in a store is just doing it to sell you stuff, but you can't rule it out. You know what I mean? It's like you can't. Right. But Nate was nice to me because we liked each other, and there was no question of like, he knew I could go buy weed from fucking anybody. So
right.
But
did you ever have those drug dealers that you didn't like hanging out with, but you had to anyways because you were getting shit from? I had a couple where like all right, shit's good, just got to go in and grab it, get out, but he insists on sitting down, smoking a bowl. You got to try this bong. You got to try this shit. Turns on a movie. He gets like butthurt when you try to leave. It was like a whole thing. So God, in that regard, terrible. Thank God for dispensaries.
Fair enough. Oh my God. I used to buy. There's a guy like that for me. We'll call him Nate too. How about that?
Nate too. Yeah, Nathan. We'll call him Nathan.
Nathan. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Nathan was he was a nice guy, but every time I went over, he had like a whole goon squad, and all they ever did, I went over there probably a dozen times. The only thing I ever saw them doing when I was over there was playing Call of Duty. And I like video games as much as the next guy, but like, Jesus Christ, dude, do something else. Watch a movie, fucking something. And these guys were all like the no scoping and the sort. They're really good players, and but they were really really douchey about it, and I was just like,
Oh, yeah.
you guys, this kind of person really is a dick in real life, and they
Yeah,
like,
I knew I had a drug dealer like that too. It was yep. I
yeah.
think we all know a few Nates and Nathans in our lives. We have a few, Joseph.
Yeah.
So Josh is
Have
a
you,
man who doesn't have a bio. Apparently.
Oh my gosh,
so
hold on. I'm getting
can't say much about him.
some weird.
Yeah, bios are people that are accomplished.
You are accomplished.
I'm
sir.
going.
You may not-
Sorry, the stream is feeding back in my head. Okay. So Josh Lee, have you ever talked to an alien when you were high?
An alien? No, I have not. Not yet.
Ah,
I'll never say never.
I like that. Yet.
But I haven't tried DMT yet, so that's next up on my list of drugs to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
There aren't very many left, but that's one of them.
Do you think?
Have you ever tried it?
I have not. No, I have not.
Huh.
It is on the list.
Okay.
I don't know. Like, I'm kind of, I don't know. I'm a little apprehensive about it because, like, on the one hand, it's like everyone says, you meet these things and it's just like warmth and love, and you just sort of like you feel at place or whatever at home in the universe. But I don't know, man. I feel like the people who I hear tell me that they're people who are like already like super open to like things like astrology and all this mystic stuff that frankly doesn't do anything for me. And so I don't know. I'm just kind of worried. Like if I go into it with this a little more of like a sort of naturalistic kind of atheistic mindset, am I going to have the same experience? Like, or is it just going to be sort of dull or dead?
I don't think so, and that's mainly why I want to try it. Because I mean, if we're looking at it from a scientific point, it's just all the chemicals in your brain that's being activated by this stimulant, right? So it's not like your brain's making up something that doesn't exist in your mind. And I feel like people that do try those drugs like regularly are definitely more prone and more susceptible to, meet an alien or God or a deity or whatever.
Yeah.
But like crabby old fucks like you and me, I don't know.
I'm not that old,
I don't know.
actually. No, I just like, I don't know. Like, I wonder, am I going to meet like some jaguar goddess?
I don't know.
Or is that ayahuasca?
You meet
it's something else. It's not DMT.
ayahuasca.
Yeah.
Or are you going to meet like the god of cello?
I am the god of cello. I've already met.
Oh my god! I knew you were going to say that.
No. No, the god of cello.
I'm calling Yo-Yo Ma right now.
No, not Yo-Yo Ma's not the god of cello. He's Janos Starker. That's the god of cello. Rest in peace,
Okay.
Janos Starker.
Okay.
May you bless my my bows and my strings. Dude, have you seen? Speaking of the aliens, have you seen the those videos the Pentagon released? I know that.
No,
like,
I haven't.
I don't.
Dude.
I don't want to do the whole Joe Rogan thing and do the DMT and then let's talk about aliens. But this is literally the list that Josh gave me of things to talk about.
I mean, dude, like, it's so crazy that I haven't checked out those videos because of all the other crazy shit that's been happening. Like, I'm like, okay, Pentagon videos, whatever. Fucking, there's a pandemic going on right now, and I can't play any fucking gigs. Like, I'm making half as much money as I used to. So like, but yeah, it's that like really speaks volume to like the crazy year that we've had.
It's weird though because like when you're looking at it, like you're not it's not a video. Well, I mean, it is. A video, but
I'm assuming you've seen it.
I have seen them. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a video, but it's not like this kind of video. Like I see, this is, my webcam's not perfect. It's not whatever, but like what you're seeing, if you were standing where my webcam's standing, you would see this same colors, same setup, maybe a different perspective because it's your eyes and not a webcam. But you'd be like, that's the same thing. I'm standing where the thing is. But this is like radar or some kind of, I don't really know what it is. I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at.
One of those obscure fucking things.
Yeah, like it's from a jet. I don't know what I'm looking at. Everyone says it's a thing that's flying around. I mean, there's the pilots who say that, it's like, well, these things, they don't, like they know what they're looking at and they're saying this should be happening, but I don't know, man. It's super odd. But I feel like I don't know. We have to have been visited, right? I mean,
Yeah. I mean, do you believe in aliens or just extraterrestrial life in general?
I mean, I feel like it's such a it's a bigger stretch to think that this is the only place that has like life, like what we like self-replicating, whatever. It seems like such a huge stretch because there's billions and billions and billions and billions of planets out there. It might be true that this is just a one-off, super crazy fluke that never ever happens again. But that seems preposterous to me. But I'm also an idiot and I don't know anything about science. So I don't know. I think they have to be out there. Maybe what's true is that most planets do produce some kind of life, but it's all microscopic, and it never gets to the point of like what we would call the macro level, and it never gets to the point of like things that do what we do, like make shit and culture and religion and whatever.
Right.
I don't know. Have we been visited though? That's my big question.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if we have. I forget the exact name of the. I don't even know if it's a theory, but like, it basically suggests that any life advanced enough to travel light years and light years and be able to visit us is probably most likely gonna have destroyed themselves before they have that technology. Just based on looking at our technology.
Is that the Great Filter? Is that called?
I don't think. I'm not sure. I can't remember right now. But yeah. I tend to believe in that just based on looking at us as a society. I think with intelligence comes with all these extra moral, complex questions and paradoxes that aren't easily solved. And I think civilizations are more likely to destroy themselves before they gain the ability to travel light years into space.
Yeah. Is Hillary Clinton a lizard person?
Yes. No.
I agree. Oh. Yeah,
but,
I think I think what you're talking about is the Great Filter, which is that like there's just these sort of set points just that are sort of just innate in the sort of idea of a thing that makes technology, in that like everything ends up sort of nuking itself basically.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a little more complicated. It's a little more, someone could put it a little more eloquently than that, but yeah, it's just like that there's sort of this inevitability of the more like technology that you create, the higher the likelihood that it's all going to go wrong and just sort of set everything back to zero. And if that likelihood hits 100% before the likelihood, like before the sort of chance that you're going to get off the planet, then you're done. And so the idea is that it always hits 100% before you can get off the planet. And like, I mean, think about us. Like, we're trying to get off the planet, but you know what else? Elon Musk is launching 300,000 fucking satellites into the atmosphere. We're not going to be able to leave if we put too much shit around our planet.
Dude, if anybody's a lizard person, it's that guy.
You think so? You think he'd be a lizard person?
No, I don't. I mean, have you seen his like interviews and shit? He's weird as fuck.
I've seen a lot of his interviews. He is super weird, but he's also super smart.
Super weird.
He's also super smart. Dude, honestly,
you think it's because like his brain's wired differently, that it just like seems weird to like average people like us?
I mean, his whole deal is that he works like 14, 15 hours a day straight, doesn't do anything else. I mean, I'm sure he takes vacations. I'm sure he does take time off, but like most people are going to work 8 hours a day, maybe 10 hours a day, maybe 12 hours a day, but he's working basically every hour of every day when he's not sleeping, when he's not eating, and when he's not fucking, he's working. And he's not just like laboring. He's dealing with physics. He's dealing with engineering. Like he's working on stuff at such a high level. And I think that he's just been like that for so long. And it's just made him so. I mean, I think he was already probably super intelligent anyway. But it's just made him so much smarter. That I think that I don't know. I think he's just on a different level. I think that if he,
Yeah.
okay, I think the explanation though is that he's a time traveler. I don't think that he's a lizard person.
I mean, I believe that. Actually, the paradox that I was talking about is called Fermi paradox.
Oh, the Fermi paradox.
Yeah. I had to Google it. I was like, it's driving me crazy. But yeah, dude, have you ever been in a Tesla?
Yeah, I have.
Dude, it's fucking insane.
It's ridiculous, man.
It's ridiculous.
My friend Miranda has an ex, and it's like she's a mom with like 2 or 3 kids. I think it's 2 kids, and it's the ex is this sort of SUV one, and she takes her kids to school in it, and then I get in it with a couple of my friends, and she's like, "You want to see something?" And she floors it, and it's ridiculous. I was like,
you're like, oh my god,
it's crazy. And she was like, "You want to see how fast it gets to 60? Floor 60. It's 60. Stupid. It's like a freaking like Lamborghini.
3 to 4 seconds.
It's so fast. It's so fast.
Yeah, it's oh man. And I'll tell you this story. So my lead singer in one of my bands that I play with, Iscali, it's a Mexican rock band, but he just recently got a Tesla. And we were going to a show, and I was like, there's no way that we're going to fit all this gear in this little sedan. So finally, we ran out of room. I'm like, Miguel, there's no way we can fit all this shit. And he goes, look. And then he pops open the hood. There's no engine.
Yeah.
It's just an empty space. I'm like, where the fuck is the engine? And he's like, dude, the whole car's a computer. It doesn't need an engine. I'm like, that is fucking mind-boggling.
Well, I think it doesn't. So it doesn't. I don't think they actually have an engine. I think they have
they don't.
It's 4 engines. It's one for each wheel, and then and there's just that big ass battery in there. But because it's electric, it doesn't need things like
propulsion. No.
Yeah,
it doesn't need a propulsion system. No.
Well, it doesn't. I mean, it's a car, dude. It has to have a propulsion system.
But not with fuels and shit. It's all electric.
Yeah. There's no
combustion.
pistons.
Yeah.
It's just runs the wheels. And it's crazy how quiet it is too. It's just they're ridiculously cool cars, man.
Yeah.
The thing about it to me, and this kind of backs up my Musk is a time traveler idea, is I don't know a whole lot about cars, but I know a little bit. And when I think about the difference between like my Honda sitting out in my driveway and a Tesla, it's like the difference between like a Model T and my car.
I know. It's like ridiculous.
We know that they're the same thing and they function the same way, but they are completely different. Like there's barely anything that's the same between a Model T and like a Honda CR-V.
I mean, it's a completely different technology.
Yeah.
It's like apples to oranges, and it's crazy that you can purchase not that much more for. I mean, Teslas are expensive, but they're not like millions of dollars,
No, it's not like a Ferrari or anything.
No, it's like you can get one for like 60,000, 70,000.
I mean, that's like some high-end Fords. I mean,
yeah, exactly. And the fact that you can purchase something like that for that price is ridiculous.
Yeah, but it's like if you jump, how long ago was the Model T? I don't know, like 100 years ago. Let's say it was 100 years ago. If you popped me 100 years in the future and all the cars worked like a Tesla, I'd be like, okay, this makes sense. But no one seems to question the fact that there's nothing else like a Tesla really out there. I mean, it just seems obvious it's from the future. I don't know. I mean, listen. His whole, one of his whole things is he's super, super skeptical about AI. Like he said a lot that like we got to be really, really careful about this. And one of the things that he said, I've listened to this so many times. This is basically verbatim. He was asked about, is there a danger to AI? Are you talking to people in like Silicon Valley about AI? And he gets this faraway look on his face, like he's remembering something, dude.
Yeah.
And he kind of goes, I tried to tell them. They didn't listen. It was disastrous. Past tense. You see what I'm saying? This is the fucking plot of Terminator. They've sent Elon Musk has sent himself back to warn us about.
Jesus.
I'm telling you, dude.
Oh man,
traveler. And
I
that's
just
why,
got chills.
and that's why he's so smart, dude. And that's why he's so smart. It's not necessarily that he's necessarily super far ahead of everyone else. It's just he came from the future and he knows all this is just standard technology. You know, it'd be like,
And he's like, and he's like the new John Connor. He's just trying to stop AI from taking over.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a great theory.
That's my theory. That's my theory.
I love that theory.
Do I have evidence? No, I do not.
No.
But that's my theory.
Will you ever? Probably not. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Especially like example that you gave. If you look at a Tesla, any other car, any other like Honda or whatever, you would literally say those two are not the same things.
They're not the same thing.
No.
I mean, they're the same thing in the sense that they can carry people and objects from one place to another, but they don't work the same way. Completely different.
They don't. No. It'd be like, yeah. It'd be like comparing a fireplace to like an electric stove. They both do the same thing, warm shit up.
Yeah.
But different technology. Like
yeah.
Completely different.
I can make a fire. I can't make an electric stove.
Exactly.
Right? They're not. It's not the same thing in that sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and the concepts that he comes up with are crazy too. Like the frictionless travel, the tubes that he came up. He like supposedly had an idea with. And like the space travel idea where he contracts like time and space continuum and gravity in front of the ship and expanding the gravity in the back so that it propels itself forward without any kind of combustive engine. Shit like that, you're like, okay, that guy might be from the future.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, but I've heard a lot of people say, I've seen it on Twitter. A lot of people say that like the Hyperloop isn't even like physically possible.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I don't know fucking anything about physics, so I have zero means to accept.
You and I are
not intelligent. Well, I'm not. But
we're not qualified to talk about this.
I'm not qualified to talk about the Hyperloop, but I'm talking about it anyway because I can. First Amendment.
Exactly.
Baby.
Hey, it's your fucking podcast.
That's right. And if you're don't listen. Well, we have one person listening, so maybe I'm corrupting one person. So
Good.
Sorry, Chris, if that's still you. But I don't know. So like, well, it's like on the one hand, it's like if I have no like rationalization to accept that like this guy who says the Hyperloop isn't like possible, I have no reason to say that he's right. But that also means I have no reason to say that Musk is right either, and that it is possible. And so I'm just stuck here being like, it's a cool idea, I guess, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me know.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm not gonna spend the next 15 years trying to figure out how this shit works.
It would be super cool though. I mean, because like, can you imagine just popping in and you're in California in a couple hours?
That'd be fucking amazing.
Actually, from Colorado to California might
it'd be like 30 minutes probably.
Yeah.
10 minutes. Yeah.
Be like, hey man, you want to go to In-N-Out real quick? It's a little bit of time, but we can do it. You got a couple hours to kill. Let's go to In-N-Out,
yeah, they're opening one up in Denver.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dude, the first time I had In-N-Out, I was actually in California, and I went with a Californian, and he hooked me up, dude. He knew the secret menu and everything, and it was ridiculous. It was so good.
Yep.
So
Dude, that's like our one must go place every tour. Or it used to be when we had tours. God damn it.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I had 3 tours canceled. I'm supposed to be on tour right now. Canceled.
With who?
Milquetoast Company.
Ooh. Where do I know them from? Milquetoast. I think I played a show with them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Eldrin did.
Yeah. It's a really fun band, man. We actually had a live show last week, which was
where?
Larimer Lounge. It was interesting. We all had to wear masks, which I don't really care, but I felt bad for our singer. He's trying to sing with a mask on. Every time he goes to take a breath, I don't know. It was really silly.
Oh yeah, I totally opened for them once.
Oh really? Nice. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I very recently added to the band, I'm still playing catch up. There's a lot of music I haven't learned. Sorry, James. I'm slacking.
What are you doing? Not practicing.
I told you. It's all fake. I don't actually play that thing.
Whatever. You probably practice more than anybody I know.
Well, I don't know. Maybe.
You're frozen on my screen.
You were frozen on my screen. But yeah, it's all good. It's all good. My computer sucks, and so does my internet. Now I don't have you anymore. There we go.
We're good now.
Yeah. Do you guys? I mean, are you guys like planning anything for like 2021? Like, do you think you're going to be able to get back on tour or play some shows or?
I don't. It's hard to say. I mean, all the big names are pushing everything to like September, October of next year. So, and you know, like if the bigger names are doing that, then we as like indie artists don't really have a choice. If they're not opening up those bigger venues, then they're definitely not opening up, you know, some of the smaller indie venues like Larimer Lounge and all that.
But Larimer Lounge is open and they are doing shows.
It is, but everything's supposed to close back down in October.
Is it really?
Yeah.
So where is that coming from? I have not heard that.
That's what the governor's saying, and the mayor. So it's not a sure thing, but that's the plan right now. Is every live venue is going to be closed in October. So it's not looking good for us.
God damn it.
Yep.
I just want to go on tour. I just want to play shows. Man.
I know, man. It's like this pandemic has really shown everybody how much we rely on being around other people. Like a whole lot of this economy, the industry, a lot of it revolved around going out, being around people, and socializing.
Yeah. And
there was an entire economy built around it, and now it's just poof.
Do you remember handshakes?
Ugh.
Remember shaking hands? Do you remember hugging? Remember hugging
Man,
people?
I heard a scientist talking about how like hugging and shaking hands isn't going to be a thing for another 10 years.
Dude, I don't get that though. It's like I don't know, dude. It seems like it's something that's so necessary. Like I'm really lucky. I'm really lucky that like I have my girlfriend. I can go hug my girlfriend, and that's really nice. Mm-hmm. But like, you know, that's all the physical interaction that I get, and it's not that it's not. I mean, I love her, but it's like I want to shake my friend's hand. I want to see my buddy and be like, "What's up, man?" Do the whole thing, you know.
Yeah.
Like I miss that, and I feel like it's. I don't know. I feel like that kind of like fraternal, like platonic, like touch. I feel like it's super important for people's mental health, and I feel really bad for people who like live by themselves, and are now like working from home, and they're like not seeing anybody. And I'm not talking about saying hi to Denise who bags your groceries at Safeway. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like being able to go sit down and have a beer with somebody, or shake their hand, or play pool with them, or something. Like, it's just so important. And like, I get that there's this crazy virus, and we're trying to stop it spreading to people, and that's really important. But it's like, how do you weigh the risks? You know.
Well, first of all, shout out to our homegirl Denise at Safeway.
Shout out to Denise at Safeway.
She's a hell of a bagger. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I mean, once again, you and I are not qualified to like talk about public safety issues. We're not scientists, but we can have opinions, right? Yes. It is tough because we're human beings, and we evolved into being the social creatures, and we do need certain degree of social interaction. Like, I think mental health state in this country especially is at its lowest right now,
and it was even before we had a lockdown.
Way before.
Yeah.
And I was talking to my buddy, and not to shit on the BLM movement and all that stuff, But I don't think the protest would be happening like it is right now if there wasn't a pandemic and there wasn't a quarantine.
You think people have like a bunch of pent up fucking shit, and then something
they have there has to be. I mean, there has to be the consequences to being quarantined, being locked up, and having all of your ties cut off for like 3-4 months, right? And you in like 3 months, all you do is go on social media. That's all social interaction you're getting. And Facebook only feeds you the stuff that you want to believe in, and you want to, you want to
100%. It took the lockdown for me to like. I still have my Facebook page because I use it to share videos like this podcast. I also I have like a professional page, and so I use my personal page to manage my professional page. So I still have it, but it took the lockdown for me to delete the app from my phone. And listen to me, dude. I do not regret it one single bit.
I need to.
It's been about 6 months, and I don't. Well, dude, the problem. I was talking to I might have said this on like every one of these I've done so far, but this is something I've been thinking about a lot. There are people that I know personally in real life, and who I've known for a while. Like it's not a superficial sort of. I just know this guy because I met him at a bar one time. Who post things on Facebook, and then someone disagrees with them, and next thing you know, it's like calling people idiots, saying they're ignorant, saying blah 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 blah. Well, like one guy, it was the leap of logic made no fucking sense. The guy was talking about this was right around, or no, this was. Yeah, I think this is right around the time when Polis came out, a couple months ago, when Polis came out and he did that press conference where he was like super angry about the fact that like there were all these like
people not wearing masks. Yeah.
No. It was about the numbers that were being put out for Colorado by the Department of Health, because they were doing what every other state is doing, and they were looking at a guy and they were like, he died, and after he died we tested him and he tested positive for COVID, so we're marking him as a COVID death. Right. Well, but you haven't shown that he died from COVID. And so Polis came out and said, listen, my constituents rely on me to convey the information that you give me, but then when you guys come out and say that you overestimated the numbers by 25, listen, 5% makes sense. 25%? Jesus Christ, dude. It went from
That's a lot of dead people, yeah.
Yeah, it went from like 1,300 people to 900 people.
Yeah.
That's a huge difference, And it changes the way that we think about, how morbid the virus is. Anyway, so this guy, a friend of mine, is posting about how many people have died and how, if you don't wear a mask, you're the problem with this country, and all just kind of ridiculous bullshit. And then somebody pointed out, hey, are you really sure about these numbers? And next thing, he's calling this other guy, a Trump supporter, a Trump crony, and it's like, this guy, the second guy who pointed out the fact that the numbers aren't really necessarily what they seem, is not a Trump supporter. If you know this, like, you've talked to this guy, he doesn't like Trump. Like, why the hell would you say that? And I'm like, if you were having this conversation face to face, you wouldn't be talking to him like that. So why are you talking to him like that?
Yeah.
Like, why is it so hard to recognize that it's easy to sit behind a screen and a keyboard and say things to people's face that you would never say, and say things to people that you would never say to their face?
Yeah, because
and that's a problem.
Because there's no instantaneous like consequences to, talking on Facebook. You don't get to see that expression on the person's face change. You don't get the consequences of your actions and your statements and your opinions.
Yeah.
You put it out there, and then you have the choice to not even look at it or respond to it or go back and say fuck you.
Yeah, and you
there's no consequence.
And you could just count it as a win because you're like, I owned that, libtard or the Trumper,
exactly.
or however you want to label him, and then
you
walk away. But like,
I'm gonna be honest, like, I've been guilty of doing that too.
Me too.
Especially during the quarantine.
Me too. Yeah.
Especially
100%.
during the quarantine, like, getting depressed as fuck, by myself because you can't go out. Getting drunk and getting in arguments with like trolls.
Oh, I've been.
And I like to think that I'm on the right side, but it's a rabbit hole, and it goes down very deep, and you find yourself next morning and be like, what the fuck? Why would I say that?
Yeah. Trolls regret. Trolls remorse is what that's called.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why Facebook is so toxic.
It's so bad.
And I can't delete it because I have to like promote my bands and like I can't not have a social media, and that's the only reason why I have it. So I've just like been trying to like just stay off of it.
One of the things that I was doing, and then I couldn't keep doing it, but it's not a bad idea. But whenever I saw a post, even if it was by a friend, I told myself I'm not gonna, worry about it. If I know this person, if I see a post that gets my blood going, that makes me want to respond and call them an idiot, I'm gonna hide them.
Yeah.
Hide. Don't
hide.
Unfollow. No. Unfollow Josh. Whatever. But then I was unfollowing pretty much everyone that was posting on my feed, and I was like, I can't do this. Oh, this is so bad. And
that's another reason why it's so toxic too. You have this option to not take in the information that you don't want. You can mute them. You cannot see it, which is not how the world works. You can't just not see an opinion. You can't just not deal with somebody who's disagreeing with you. That's not how the world works.
Well, you can. You could just not go on social media. You could just not talk to people. That's fine.
But you won't.
I see your point in that you are at some point going to be exposed to an idea or a thought or an opinion that you don't agree with and that you don't like, and you can't. Right. You're gonna have to learn how to deal with that 100%.
Yeah.
And maybe deleting Facebook from my phone was a pretty cowardly way of dealing with it. But I tell you what, man. About 5 or 6 days, about a week after I did that, I realized I hadn't thought about it, and I realized that I was a lot happier. And I'd much rather save the conversations for something like this, or I would much prefer to do this in person, obviously, but social distancing, whatever. But I'd much rather actually talk to somebody because
an actual conversation,
right? And you're making the point that like you can't. Like there's a sort of real time issue with text messages or Facebook, whatever, in that like if you and I are having a conversation and you're talking about something and then you say something I disagree with or that I don't understand, I can go, whoa, hold on, stop, Josh, let's talk about that for a second.
Right.
If you just type out a research paper into a Facebook comment,
exactly,
it's really it's not productive. It's not productive.
It's not. And like I was saying, and then you don't get to see this like facial expression on the other person's face where either they're like, you can see that they're getting upset or getting disappointed, and you're like, in your brain you go, oh, maybe I should back off, maybe I should be a little bit nicer.
And you
don't have any of that.
You're missing tone,
like you said,
and inflection and everything.
And like you said, you just end up writing a fucking research paper like one-way street talking and then wait for the other person to respond. It's just
And
I don't know.
But at the same time though, like getting in arguments with trolls, it does feel kind of good to be like, you're a fucking idiot, you moron, you ignorant person.
Yeah, it does. But at the end of the day, you achieved nothing,
and
just wasted fucking bunch of your time doing toxic shit.
Yeah, and I probably wasted their time as well.
Yeah. So everybody wins.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? I forgot what I was gonna say about the trolls remorse thing, but I don't know. It's I just think I think culturally we're gonna have to rethink our relationship to social media in the same way that we've rethought our relationship to things like drugs and alcohol. I mean, granted, those rethinking processes maybe have not resulted in the best or the sort of what I would think would be the best outcomes. But, it's like so like if most societies have some kind of regulation legally and culturally on alcohol use, right? Let's take the West in the sense that the West is even a culture. Right? Let's just say that it is. The West pretty much says if you abuse alcohol, this is a bad thing. This is not a behavior to respect, and the people who do this are not people that you should respect and try to emulate, right? Maybe with some exceptions like writers, sure. But in general, it's not a good thing to be an alcoholic. It's an illness, it's a sickness, right? It makes sense that we would have had to have alcohol and alcoholism before we have that concept, right? So at some point, we had to rethink. Maybe it didn't even come from the West. Maybe this is before the West was even a thing. We had to rethink our relationship with alcohol, and we had to sort of culturally agree in some sort of unconscious way maybe that this is not something that you should be doing all the time. This is something that you should exert self-control with. And I think we're gonna have to do the same thing with social media because it's like we've all got free reign on it. Kids have free reign on it. This is bad. This is bad for kids. It's bad for me, and I'm a grown ass man, sort of.
Mhm.
I'm still kind of a baby. I'm still a child in a lot of ways, but like I'm an adult. I've had a lot of experience. I'm not 13. I don't know that a 13-year-old is gonna have like a really healthy.
You're not 13.
I know. Imagine. Everyone got fooled. Sorry to disappoint you, Josh. Creep. But it's like, you know, like kids are gonna have to rethink that, or it's not kids, but adults are gonna have to rethink the way that we, you know, like what does it mean for a 13-year-old to be on Facebook, or just on the internet in general? I mean,
yeah,
you know,
I mean, you know, going back to the whole internet thing. I mean, going back to the whole alcohol thing. The thing is, we did push back. Like we did, as a society, decide that it was ultimately a harmful thing, and we got rid of it. It was called prohibition. And what we learned that was when you take certain things away from people, it just makes them want to do it more.
Yeah.
And when you take regulation away, it just becomes chaos. People still try to, you know, try to ingest in their vices no matter what.
Yeah.
But now they're making it in their bathtubs. They're getting it from mafias. So I don't think getting rid of it altogether is the right idea. I think just having more regulation is the right idea. I mean,
yeah.
I heard in Korea, they're trying to get rid of any comment section, period, on the internet.
Really?
So that you can't comment on. Yeah. And I think that's really smart because no matter what you post on social media, no matter how incredible it is, go to the comment section. And that's where you get disappointed by the fucking humanity.
You're right. But isn't that like an issue of censorship though? Because it's like or a journalist or anybody can like, I don't have a platform. I have a YouTube channel with 16 subscribers. That's not a platform. 2 people are watching this right now. Thank you, by the way, all 2 of you who are watching. But this is not like, I'm not a CNN anchor, right? I can't respond to an article or something the president says or does. You know, if I don't like it, I don't have a platform to disseminate my ideas out to a shit ton of people. You know, I can get it out to 16 or 2 people or whatever, you know, but that's not a lot. And so it's like, if you're just an average guy, I almost said average Joe. If you're an average guy or girl or whatever, you know, and you see like an article posted by a newspaper and you're like, I have thoughts about this. Okay. To not let that person at least just express their thoughts. Like, you're right. There are negative consequences to comment sections. I agree with you, but to not let people, I mean, it just seems like an issue of like free speech. You know, it's like it would be like saying, you know, 30-something thousand people. It's actually probably more than that. 30,000, whatever. A shit ton of people every year die from car accidents, and they're not drunk. They're not inebriated. They're not under any influence. It's just a freak thing happened. Someone didn't look in the mirror. Next thing you know, 5 people are dead. You know,
right.
So let's get rid of all cars. You and I would go, whoa, hold on. Don't take my car away. I have the freedom to move around, and my car is a means to do that. So, I mean, I don't know. It seems to me like, you would, but it's sort of like saying, I have something wrong with my fingers, so I'll just chop off my hand.
Right.
You're not solving the problem. You're just getting rid of it, but that's not the same thing.
Sure. I mean, yeah, I agree with you to a certain degree. But at the same time, like, let's take newspaper, for example. The purpose of a newspaper when it gets published is to let people, inform the public of the knowledge that they've gathered and that they've researched. And this is what we've concluded, and this is what we want you to know. At which point does it warrant a response? Why do we need a response for that? You know what I'm saying? Like, why does somebody, like, say that there's an article on global warming. Why does an average Joe with a high school diploma get to comment on the comment section and say, this is all hoax, this is fake, this is not real?
I see. Yeah, okay, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
When the guy that put out the article has talked to researchers, scientists, people with PhDs and have accumulated all this data and came up with this one opinion. Now, I get what you're saying, but it used to be that we didn't section in the first place, right? I mean, nobody, like, if you got the news in the newspaper, there's like, you can't, sure, you can write to the newspaper company, but there's like no forum for people to publicly see your own opinions. And I don't think there needs to be a public forum for people to express their opinions on a thing that they're not qualified to speak about.
So that's I see what you mean about you know, like whatever, but it seems like you and I are looking at this from two different kind of approaches. I'm coming at things from the approach of we should start with saying everything is acceptable and then work our way down to a list of things that are not, versus saying nothing is acceptable and you have to justify why it is. So it makes sense to say, let's say everything's acceptable. Okay, let's look at murder. Okay, we can come up with good reasons for why that's not acceptable. So we'll put that in the not acceptable category. Everything else is still left in the acceptable category until we can show that an action or something is just not acceptable, that that if there are pros and cons, that the cons outweigh the pros, right? And it seems kind of like you're coming from the opposite perspective, that it's like we should just assume you're not allowed to do things until you make a good argument that you should be allowed to do it. And I don't necessarily know that that's like the worst way to think about it, but I think maybe we're looking at it from two different things. So you're right with the global warming thing. I don't know jack squat about. I'm gonna go ahead and take their word for it, right? And it seems at the end of the day, well, no, that's not. No, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, okay. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take their word for it. But I'm still allowed to have an opinion, right? And I can still do some research, and I can still listen. There are people out there who global warming is a bad example, right? Maybe let's use a different example. Let's maybe something like it's okay to smoke weed. All right. There's a lot of people who say it's okay to smoke weed. There's a lot of people who say it isn't. If I'm going to be honest about my conclusion and not just say I also agree it's okay to smoke weed, so I'm just going to say these guys are right. I should listen to both sides, and it may be the case that a thing is true independent of who it comes from, right? It doesn't matter. Just because you have a bunch of letters after your name doesn't mean you're right. You know what I'm saying? So it seems like I'm getting way sidetracked, and I'm very sorry. As far as like being able to comment on stuff, yeah, I mean, for a long time, somebody published something in the newspaper. If you're just an average citizen, you don't agree with it, you can tell your friends. Okay, sure. But it seems to me to be a better thing that more people have more ability to express themselves. You know,
right? And you know, I'm always going to be on the side of First Amendment and free speech. And let's be honest here. Even if we wanted to get rid of the comment sections, they're not going away, right? No. There's no way the American media will fucking get rid of all the fucking let's tweet at this problem, and then let's take live question from the tweets and the feed and the comment section. They're never getting rid of that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, this guy that put out this article is accredited, is qualified. Hopefully, not all the time, but most times he's going to be like a journalist or researcher that has a degree, is qualified, and has put in way more time than you.
But he's going to have a degree in what? Is he a degree in science?
Probably journalism and communications. Probably not in science, but he's going to be the one that's talking to the scientists, and he's probably better at amassing those data and putting them together in a way that is presentable. And he has that platform, once again, presumably because he is qualified to do so, right? So why does this guy, presumably, that's the problem. So why does this guy with a high school degree get to come into the comment section and take over with a fucking incendiary comment that is not based on science? It's not based on facts. It's sure as hell it's not based on the researches that he has done.
Well, again,
That's
I see what you're saying, but I think the question I'm asking is slightly different. I'm asking why shouldn't he be allowed to do that?
no, I think he should absolutely be able to. And if you are, presumably, once again, somewhat of a sane and intelligent person, average intelligent person, you're going to be smart enough to discern between the average Joe with incendiary comments and the fucking scientists and the research, right? And you're probably going to be like, I'm probably going to listen to the article, and like if I have questions on it, I'll do my follow-up research myself.
Yeah.
Problem is,
but
I don't think we have enough of those like average intelligent people, like normal people. I think we live in this weird day and age where incendiary comments over trumps all the scientific data that has been amassed by this guy with the PhD. That's the problem.
That I will agree with that to a bit. I will say presumably and allegedly are two of my absolute favorite words. So great. Hey, the other night, Jeff and I, we may have, we might have stolen a car allegedly.
Allegedly.
It's great. I love it. So actually, this is I didn't plan on talking about this, but I would love to hear your thoughts. So you are of Korean heritage.
Yes.
I discovered recently a charity called Flash Drives for Freedom, which once I have some money, I'm gonna buy some flash drives. What they do, you can either donate old flash drives, you can buy flash drives, you can give them money and they'll buy flash drives for cheap. But they load them up with with a North Korean language offline Wikipedia, with books, with movies, and they smuggle them to North Korea. Yeah, they smuggle them to North Korea.
This is brilliant.
It's so cool, dude. And I actually remember years ago, I remember watching a documentary about these guys, and dude, it's freaking nuts, man. Like they've got guys who like are North. Well, they are. I don't know if you would say are North Korean if they've like defected and now live in South Korea and are sort of protected by the government. I don't know if you say they are or were North Korean, but
they call them refugees. There's different words for them.
Yeah. But basically people who formerly lived in North Korea who managed to escape across the border, and now they're basically just. Yeah, they're smuggling these flash drives because the North Korean internet has like 9 websites, I think, and they're all run by the government.
Yeah.
And
if you even get that internet,
if you can even get the internet, yeah. But apparently, most people in North Korea now do actually have devices with USB drives, like a laptop or something like that.
They're slowly starting to get internet and like technology, like very recently.
Yeah, well, it's so interesting to me because it seems to me like if liberation of North Korea is going to happen, which I absolutely think it should, obviously, it's a fucked up system, dude. I mean, it's just it's just crazy. Like I'm so people listen. I don't like Trump, not a fan, haven't ever been a fan. Sometimes he says some shit that's kind of funny, like when he okay, never mind. I'm not going to talk about his tweets, but people talk about him being a dictator or fascist. At least we don't have to fucking pray to him. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Like when people want to compare him to North Korea, it's like, are you serious? I'm not required to have a picture of Donald Trump in my bedroom that I have to pray to every morning when I wake up and every night before I go to sleep and every time I eat and dude. There's this crazy video of doctors who I think they were American or European who were allowed to go to North Korea to perform.
The eye doctors.
Eye doctors. And
I saw that documentary. Yeah.
Instead of thanking it, like literally, it's crazy. It's a surgery. They don't even have to go under anesthesia, and it's over in 15 minutes, and basically their eyesight's restored. And these people are getting up off the table. They're able to see again, and the doctor who is standing right there, and they go right to the picture of the great leaders, and they start thanking the great leaders. And it's like, it's so strange to me because I have to believe that some of them know that this is bullshit, but I also think that education is such a problem there, and I don't know. I really have no idea.
I mean, it's a mix. Honestly, some people do live in fear and they don't know any better, and that's all they've been taught. So that's what they believe. Some people, usually like a little bit higher up in the government, that get a little bit more information than your average civilians and farmers and agricultural workers. They know what's up, but they still have to live in fear anyways. Because what the fuck are you gonna do?
Yeah.
It's either take your entire family and fucking get the fuck out, dodge bullets, or get your entire, literally all your, not just your direct family, but your relatives killed too.
Yeah, because they do the intergenerational punishment thing.
Yeah. 3 generations.
3 generations. Yeah.
Yeah.
God damn.
So do you see that in that same documentary? Did you see that part where the photographer had to lay down to take the picture of that big ass statue of Kim Jong in the plaza? Because it was so big, he had to lay down to take a picture of it. And these security guys come out and they're like, "How dare you lay down in front of a statue of a great leader?" So they deported him immediately.
Dude,
for taking a picture. I mean, I'm just like,
anybody
so
who goes into that country has balls of steel that I will never have.
I know.
I will never be that.
Especially like as a leisure. Are you out of your fucking mind?
Do people actually go there like just for vacation?
Yeah.
Who?
Just to see. A lot of Europeans. I mean, some like South Koreans will go there. There's like a route where you take a ship and it takes you like to the northern parts of North Korea. You get to see like the northern mountains.
And I'm sure you're like under escort by like government.
Oh yeah. It's very much state guided, state funded tour. And you only go to the places that they let you, and you only get to see things that they let you.
Did you ever see that movie, The Interview?
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude, that is my favorite. Seriously, that is my favorite movie of all time. I've watched that movie probably 10 times.
The fact that it got banned from theaters.
It got banned, and North Korea hacked into Sony's like servers or whatever. I don't think they were able to do anything, but they were threatening to bomb movie theaters and like shit like that.
Yep.
Ridiculous.
Which made the movie more famous.
Yes, it did. Yeah.
Which is
so ironic. It's like you guys, your efforts to shut. And this is, listen, as much as I want to criticize the West, this is one thing that I think that we're doing that's good. Is we've allowed so much freedom in terms of art and expression that even another country who threatens to bomb us, it backfires on them. And it's not their fault necessarily. It's not that their plan was bad. Their plan was a good plan. It's a good plan. If you don't want people to watch a movie, it is a good plan to hack into Sony and to threaten to bomb movie theaters. That's a good plan. But it backfired because everyone in the West was like, "Now I really want to see this movie." This goes back to what you were talking
about. Prohibition thing. Yeah,
exactly.
Tell them not to do it, and the first thing they're gonna do is like, "I fucking want to do it bad."
If I go over to your house and like all the doors are open except for one, that's the one I want to see inside. I don't give a shit about your bedroom.
It's just human fucking. Whatever. It's just human instinct. Yeah.
Maybe it's just towels. It's probably just towels.
Yeah.
But it could be
or like something terrifying. And if I tell you, if you go in there, you will die. Then you will definitely want to fucking open that door.
Well, if you go to North Korea, they will probably kill you. Sweet, let's go.
Let's go. That's why a bunch of these fucking Europeans and Americans are going there. I'm like, why would you go there as a vacation?
A sense of danger or something, dude. Maybe it's the same reason that people go on walkabouts and 9-day hikes through the desert with the lion following them. It's like a sense of danger. And I'll be honest, if you're gonna die, that's a good way to. How did Josh? Oh, Josh, you guys remember Josh? What a good guy. Yeah, how did he die? Oh, you got eaten by a fucking lion. That's cool, man.
That's fucking
or do
you want to hear? Oh, how do you go? Oh, he died alone in a hospital bed.
Yeah, he was just old. Oh, okay, yeah. Most people, yeah.
Fuck that.
It's kind of sad, but whatever. It's pretty standard.
Yeah. There was another documentary on. I can't believe we're spending so much time on North Korea, but I kind of like it. There's another documentary on Vice where they followed this fake labor camp in Russia, where where Kim Jong Un is selling off his own people for labor, and he's telling them they're going to like a different part of North Korea, but really they're putting them on the Trans-Siberian train,
Oh my God.
forest of Russia, and like slaving away. But the whole camp is like all in Korean. Everything, all the workers are Korean, so they just all believe that they're still in North Korea.
Dude.
It's the wildest fucking thing.
Oh, what the fuck, man? That's just crazy. I want to show here. I want to show the Flash Drives for Freedom homepage.
Oh yeah.
Here, maybe should I just do this? Yeah, here. Let me clean up some things. I'm just gonna share my screen really quickly because it's hilarious what you see when you first go on. Here, I'm gonna. You see that?
No, I don't see it. See it. This is officially my new favorite thing.
I think OBS is freaking out, so I'm gonna stop doing this. If you
God.
didn't see, I don't know if it showed up on the screen. If you didn't see it, flashdrivesforfreedom.org. Yeah, .org. One of the other things that I've seen is they have this. They put these displays up in places, and it's a giant like wall, and it's all Kim Jong Un's face with the flash drive hole for the mouth. And, and basically you stick a flash drive in there and it goes ahead and wipes it, and then they collect them later.
Oh my God.
You're sticking it's so good. It's so poetic. You're sticking the thumb drive in his mouth.
It's so satisfying.
I just like, I don't know, man. I just think the idea of like smuggling even just movies over to this place, and because it's like, if liberation for, this is what I was trying to say earlier and I got myself sidetracked again as usual. If liberation for North Korea is going to happen, it seems unlikely to me that it's going to be because we invade and we topple their government. And I also don't want that to happen.
If we were going to do that, we would have done that years and years and years ago.
Well,
we can't.
But we do have, the whole MAD situation, mutually assured destruction. I mean, they have.
Yep.
I don't know if it's been confirmed, but they say they have nukes.
I mean, it's that and their ties with China and Russia. If we invade North Korea, that's going to be World War III.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I didn't think about, allies. I guess I just kind of assumed no one likes North Korea, but that's not true, I guess.
No.
Yeah, so
China loves North Korea.
It's going to come from the inside. It's going to come from people going, you know what? This shit's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be watching. They're going to be watching movies. They're going to be reading books. They're going to be reading and it's going to be knowledge and information that frees people's minds, and not some. Because the problem is that you could topple Kim Jong Un, but somebody else is going to step up. It's not going to be that family, but it doesn't matter because they're the way they. I shouldn't say they're believed, because again, it's hard to say how many people actually believe this, or if this is just a game that they're playing out. But Kim Jong Un is not technically the president of North Korea. It's still his grandfather, who's been dead for like 40 years. He's still the leader.
But they're keeping him frozen in the basement.
Are they? I don't know.
Yeah.
Really?
They are. Just in case
they're doing a Walt Disney thing. Oh my God.
Yeah.
North Korea's doing the Walt Disney thing. Freaking A, dude. God damn it.
Dude, zombie commies.
Yeah, they're
I have the next summer's fucking shitty blockbuster. Zombie commies. Oh man. Kim Il-sung fucking comes back to life and just starts making fucking communist zombies. Where you at, Zack Snyder?
Nazi zombies is so 2005. It's all communist zombies.
Yeah, exactly.
From here on out, dude.
Exactly.
That's hilarious.
Commie zombies.
That's hilarious. Yeah, so I mean, it doesn't even matter if you take out Kim Jong Un, because he would still be a leader. I mean, that's what they would say. Obviously, it's not true because he's dead, but they would still function as though.
If it's not his sister, if it's going to be one of his generals that has the backing of Russia or China, it doesn't matter. Like, so yeah, you're right. The people have to rise against, but that's going to be one of the hardest places on the planet to do that.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, dude,
they're so poor.
It might not even be in our lifetime, if it
probably
happens
not.
at all.
Probably not. I mean, everyone's just using that specific geographical area as a pawn for the for bigger games like China, Russia, US. They're all just using it.
Right. I think there's also I'm just yeah. So Nature, I think it was Nature, or is this the wrong article? No, that's the wrong article. I remember seeing an article somewhere where basically they're basically saying that the trend for North Korea is twofold in that. Number one, the language, like they're not even really speaking Korean anymore. Apparently it's so different from the Korean spoken in South Korea that it's
you can still it's still the same language, but the difference is going to be South Koreans, we can say like the words like computer, television. And in Korean we'll just say, hey, we have a TV. We'll say a TV. If it's a computer, we'll say it's a computer.
Okay.
In North Korean, they can't use that word because it's so anti-West. So they'll have a different word for TV, different word for computer.
Okay, I got you.
They'll have a different word for like all these like everyday usage language, but down to the core, you can still communicate.
Okay, I understand. But I mean, do you think that it's like, let's say fast forward 100 years, that it might become because there is so little influence and so little sort of, there's this exchange of these sort of common words between languages that maybe it will become sort of at least a different dialect or something? Like,
I mean, it's a different dialect, or it's a different dialect already. And it already was a different, you know how we have Texan accents, Boston accents, right, and all that shit here?
Yeah.
It's like that's what northern region had. Its original dialect to begin with.
I got you.
But now add in all the cultural differences and all the political differences. Now it becomes a little bit more than just a different dialect. It's almost like a semi-different language, kind of. But you can down to the core, you can still understand. Yeah. But another question that nobody asks too is, what do you do with when you liberate North Korea? What do you do with 20 million? It's closer to 35 million people that just find out that they've been lied to their entire lives. That there is this thing called internet, and there are all these fucking movies. There's all these fucking video games. Nobody's starving. There's all these restaurants. Like, they look at their counterpart in South Korea, and they go, oh, not 1 in 5 in your family is dying of starvation or like stupid fucking plague that you don't have fucking medication for. You have all these hospitals. You have all these buildings.
Yeah.
What do you do with 30 million people that just wake up from Matrix, basically?
Yeah. Or like, you don't like your job, you can just quit it and find another job? Really?
Yeah.
What? The fuck?
Really? What do you do with 30 million people?
It's
like that.
Well, yeah, like on the one hand, it's like what I don't want to happen, or what seems like maybe a mistake would be to have another government like South Korea or America or whatever to step in and reset up a government from the ground up, because that seems to be a bad idea, and I think we've tried that before and it hasn't really worked out too well. Once we we've set up democratic systems of government in some places, and once we sort of let go of control, it reverts right back to what it was before.
Yeah, we did a great job with Iraq.
Oh yes, stellar, stunning job. So it seems like that's a mistake, but you also can't just leave 25 million people in a country without any kind of government. Like,
no, you can't.
It's literally like taking it would be just as bad to take those people and just drop them in the middle of like Dallas and say,
yeah, exactly.
Good luck. They're not going to, it's not going to work. Like the gulf between what they know and what's going on is going to be so wide, it's not going to be navigable.
No.
Well, it would be like, listen, to be fair, I mean, I'm not even trying to just shit on North Koreans for being ignorant. If they are ignorant, it's not their fault. It would be like if you took me and dropped me in South Korea, which is like super westernized, I'd still be fucked. There'd probably be a little more people who could speak English, but I'm probably going to be homeless for a little while. I'm not going to figure it out. Like,
and now dial that up to like 100.
Oh yeah,
you get North Korea.
Yeah,
it's but you can't also not liberate them either. Like, you can't just let these people starve.
Yeah.
I mean, but there is one good example, that where United States came in, took over the government, and the country turned out fine, is South Korea.
Ooh.
Because the American government came over, basically took over, and there were a bunch of shady shit during the Cold War times, especially during the Cold War times. Them, meddling with the South Korean regime, and there were a bunch of riots, and they basically just killed off a bunch of kids that were protesting. But ultimately, it is now one of the most prosperous nations in Asia.
Yeah.
And K-pop is now a thing. So so hopefully we can get a handle on that situation. But that's the one thing that nobody ever talks about, that I always bring up when we talk about North Korea. It's like, what do you do with the 30 million that just literally woke up from Matrix?
Yeah, dude. Jeez. Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
And you know what?
Waking up from the Matrix.
And you know what? I was actually having this specific conversation at a bar with a Trump supporter in Ohio. And I was like, and I asked him the same question, what do you do with them? What do you do with them? Genocide? You know what he said? He said, yeah, probably.
Oh my God. Well, that guy.
I was like, of course you fucking say that.
That guy fucking sucks.
Yeah.
It's not better. So kind of moving on. So I want to go grab some more coffee really quick. But so do you or do you not want to talk about Scientology?
No, that was a joke.
Because you said you wanted to talk about Scientology, but then you also said you didn't want to talk about Scientology.
That's just me being a fool. I don't know enough about Scientology to talk about it.
Oh man. Well, on that
hey,
note,
we'll get your coffee.
I'm gonna get some coffee. Let me see. We'll be right back. Those of you who are watching, stay tight. Less than 5 minutes, and boom. All right, we're back. From the butt emergency.
Yep. I was very, very butt pregnant.
Butt pregnant.
Yep.
Took me probably 4 seconds too long to realize what you meant. I was like, butt pregnant. Oh. Gross. Hey, you know what? You know what I watched the other day for the very first time?
What did you watch?
Silence of the Lambs.
Oof. Yeah. First time?
Very first time. Never seen it.
Oh, man.
That movie is ridiculous.
Would you fuck me? Oh, fuck me.
God. Oh, so crazy. Oh my God. Yeah, that was nuts. That was a ridiculous movie, man.
Yeah, dude.
I thought I knew what to expect because I just some I've always heard about, but I did not. I was unprepared.
Nah, dude.
Anthony Hopkins.
Mr. Hopkins.
Dude.
Oh my
crazy.
God.
So good. So scary.
I mean, all the have you seen any of the other ones? Like Red Dragon?
No, I haven't.
No.
Yeah.
They're not as good, but it's still worth a watch.
Check them out.
The only one not worth watching is Hannibal Rising. The one with not Anthony Hopkins.
Oh, is that the show?
No, that's Hannibal.
Oh.
That's different. That's got what's his face?
Mads Mikkelsen or whatever.
Madsen. Yeah, Matt Nicholson.
Yeah.
Madsen, whatever. Yeah.
You know you've seen the video of Charles Manson doing the dance thing, the whatever.
For sure, yeah.
I saw a TikTok the other day of a girl who had learned the dance. She did the Charles Manson dance. I thought it was so meta. Everyone dances on TikTok, and this girl's doing the Charles Manson.
Dude, she's ahead of her generation.
Yeah, she's changing the game for sure. I think the worst thing that happened to TikTok was India banning TikTok because Indian TikTok was
amazing.
Oh, it was weird, man. It was so strange. It was so weird.
Everything that the internet embodies. Have you ever heard Charles Manson's music?
I have actually. Yeah. It's been a long time, but
it's a trip.
It's a trip, dude. Yeah. It's not
listen.
It's not as weird as I thought it was going to be. I remember having that impression. This is not. I thought it was going to be super, super out there. It's actually not. I mean, it's not. It is kind of weird in some ways, but
yeah.
If you didn't tell me it was Charles Manson, I wouldn't be like, this guy's a fucking weirdo. I'd be like, oh, this is all right,
Some esoteric, really weird shit that you're listening. But yeah, we were like on tour through Missouri or some shit, and our drummer put on the album. It's like only 4 or 5 songs, right? And listened to it on repeat, and listening to it like while I was sleeping over and over really fucked me up.
Josh Lee, you've got to know that that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Oh,
terrible
God.
idea.
Oh, man.
Wake up in a fucking murder scene.
That's ridiculous, man. He put out quite a lot of music, I think, right?
I don't know. I've only heard the 5 songs.
I'm checking this out. Yeah, he put out like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 albums. No,
albums?
11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 albums. Some of these are like one of them is like lost tapes recorded through 1983, 1984. So it's not really an album. It just seems like maybe some shit that he just tossed on a cassette or something.
Demos, yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't he also like a co-writer for the Beach Boys or something?
Yes. Yeah, he was.
That's how he got famous, right? Initially.
Yeah, what was the song? Never Learn Not to Love.
That's right.
Yeah, he wrote that apparently.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he's not a terrible musician. He's a great musician, actually.
It's really strange listening to somebody who speaks. It's so hard to say because he, at least in that famous recording of him in the I think it was in his deposition or something like that.
Yeah, the interview.
That recording, yeah, the one with the dancing I was talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
what he's saying is gibberish. It doesn't. I'm sure it makes sense to him, and maybe if I was on acid, it would make sense to me. But it doesn't make sense. It's sense to me. But he's very like enunciated, and I want to say eloquent, without the implication of eloquent meaning that you're sort of able to very thoroughly describe your thoughts. But like the pacing, the way he speaks is really engaging.
It's elegant gibberish is what it is.
Yeah,
it's
that's a good way to put it.
Very well-spoken gibberish.
Yeah, and he's super charismatic. Like, I get why people would follow him. Again, especially if you were tripping balls all the time.
I mean, do you think it was because of the drugs? Do you think it was because he was tripping balls every day, or it was because he started believing his own lies and his own self-prophecy, or is it mix of both?
Dude, I don't know enough about him to say one way or the other. I mean, I would say that like it's got to be a mix of that,
Yeah.
But not to do the thing where like bring up Joe Rogan all the time, but like Joe Rogan interviewed a guy, I can't remember his name, who he spent 20 years writing a book on Manson. And apparently like Manson was like involved with the CIA. Like he had a handler. They were giving him LSD with maybe some other shit in it. And
no fucking way.
Yeah, and like he kept doing shit and getting arrested and then just getting off. And apparently
he was a snitch.
Maybe, yeah, or I don't know. But apparently it follows the MO of sort of like this guy draws like connections between like other people that the CIA had used, and the fact that like these patterns of doing bad shit, getting caught, going to jail, and getting released pretty much immediately and never facing consequences happens all the time with people that the CIA is using. Like non-agents, like this is an asset, right?
Do they say what they were using him for?
I don't remember if I haven't read the book, so I plan on it, but I don't remember. But this is, I think, at the same time that the CIA was doing a bunch of shit with like LSD and like
LSD and ecstasy and shit.
Yeah, like testing all these drugs. And so I wonder if it was just sort of, they were like, this guy is already super, like, we don't have to convince him to take it. He wants to take it. He's already taking it. And he's got this group of followers who's going to take it. So let's figure out the effects of this with a charismatic
how
guy.
far we can take it. Yeah.
Yeah. In a cult. But
yeah, because they were like, because they thought the CIA and FBI, they thought like it was giving him like superpowers, right? That
they thought that it could.
He can like make you like be telepathic and all that shit. And they were like messing with it. They were starting to mess with like the
I don't know if they thought that, but the Russians did. And I think what's more likely is not that the CIA was like, this shit can probably give you superpowers, but what was happening was the Russians were saying that, and the CIA was going, it's really not in our best interest to just dismiss these people as crazy, because on the off chance they're right, on the 0.5% chance that they're right, we are screwed. So we've got to figure this out. Are they right? That seems more likely to me.
Bro, because if Russia's doing it, no matter how ridiculous it seems, you have to check it out.
You got to check it out.
Test it out.
Yeah, it makes sense. You got to know what your enemy's doing, and not just, it's a mistake to just look at your enemies and going, they're crazy, mind control, whatever. Because, dude, if they did figure it out, that's it. That's the end. And you're caught with your pants down, not prepared for the shit. But I don't know. I don't know shit about the CIA, really. I did try to apply to the FBI once.
FBI?
Yeah, FBI.
Why?
I don't know. I thought it would be fun. At a certain point, I was like, I could be an agent. I'm smart.
All right, logging off now. I don't talk to fucking narcs, Joe.
Well, when I got to the part where they were like, "This is what we're gonna ask you to do on the physical," I was like, "I can't do that."
What did they ask you to do?
Oh, it's like you have to do 20 pull-ups in a row from straight arms. You have to do 50 push-ups in a row. You have to be able to run a mile in X amount of time. And I was like, I can't do any of that, and I don't want to be in the FBI that bad. So
yeah, exactly.
I was like, I'm done. I'll go watch Netflix now. So
Yeah. I'll go drink a beer and watch Netflix and get high.
Yeah. But I don't know. I thought it would be cool to like, have a badge and a gun. I was also super into the X-Files at that point in my life. So I think there's a little bit of the sort of just, probably it's not that fun being an FBI agent. But I do have an aunt who's an IRS agent, and she does actually have a gun, which is crazy. I didn't know they give IRS agents guns.
Yeah. Yeah, my ex, I mean, she's ex-military too, but she has a gun. She works for the IRS. I was like, you work for the IRS and have a gun? I should probably not. I don't know if it's a good idea for me to date.
I would hate to work. The IRS. I would hate to work for the IRS.
Oh my God, she hated it. She still hates it. It's like such a soulless job. What is your ideal occupation?
Sorry, I lost you after you said what's your ideal occupation. I missed that last part.
Aside from being a musician.
So if it wasn't musically related,
you were born and you were not talented in music whatsoever, what would you do?
Oh man, that's a good question. So my dad's a veterinarian, and I actually almost went to vet school.
Yeah.
And what I wanted to do when I was considering going to vet school was I wanted to do large animal medicine, and I wanted to not have like a small animal practice and just be a mobile vet. And I wanted to move to Wisconsin, and I just wanted to work on dairy farms and have a vet truck, and that's it. It seemed like such a cool. I mean, I loved going on like calls with my dad to farms. I loved working in the clinic. I like animals. Don't really like cats that much, but that's not true. I like cats. Cats are fine.
Don't kid yourself.
But I like animals, and the idea of it just seems super noble to be, somebody like a doctor or veterinarian. It's like, there's I don't know, like you can make a good amount of money being a vet, not if you're a large animal vet. You really can't it's not that profitable of a job. I mean, you can make a decent living. Like my dad's done just fine for himself and for my family. Not wealthy by any. I mean, my parents are older, and maybe you could call them wealthy by a certain standard in the sense that they've saved money and they've invested, consciously. But my dad's not making $500,000 a year. He's not even close. But it does seem like a really noble thing to sort of dedicate your life to helping people and to helping animals, to something that can't really help itself and
because fuck people.
Yeah, fuck people. They don't need help.
Yeah, fuck people.
They don't deserve it.
No, especially now.
What about you? What would your ideal profession be? Not music.
If I was any talented at it, a comedian. Stand-up comedian, but I don't think I would be. There's not a funny bone in my body.
That's not true, Josh. You are funny. You're a funny guy.
Oh, thanks. Boo. But interpreter probably. I like traveling, and I like learning different languages. I might still do that.
I was going to say, do you speak Korean? I mean, could you be an interpreter now?
Yeah. I could do that right now, actually. And I speak Spanish.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
Wow,
but not as well as Korean.
So you're like, but you would say you're fluent in Spanish?
I speak like elementary, like a seventh grader.
It's like conversational
Spanish.
We'd say conversational, maybe.
Yeah,
like you could get around if you had to.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Probably like get a low service job.
Dude, that's awesome. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
I've always thought I'm bad at languages, dude. Like I took Spanish when I was in college, and I don't remember half of it. I really don't. And I've spent some time in Indonesia, and I've tried to learn Indonesian's just rough though, because for me.
Oh man, that's like such a different language.
Everything. So well, see, the thing is, like with something like Spanish, it's related to English in some way. So there's
at least there's alphabets that you can understand. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well,
same alphabets. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Indonesian is written in whatever our alphabet is called. What's our alphabet called? I don't know what it's called.
How would I know?
It's written in like, it's not written in Cyrillic or anything. You know, it's not a different language. There's some different rules of pronunciation. Like C's are always ch sounds. They're never a k or a s or a s sound. You know, those kind of things. That's pretty easy to get pretty quickly. But the sentence structure and just the what would you call them? The sort of whatever the little pieces of things that make up words are so different. There's nothing for me to latch onto. Like Spanish, the sentence structure is pretty much the same. Sometimes like the subject object thing tends to get switched, and you know the noun adjective gets flipped compared to English. That's pretty easy to adjust to. But Indonesian it's been really difficult for me. The only words that I know in Balinese are just bad. They're just bad words. So
bad words.
That's hey, when you go to another country, that's what they teach you. They teach you some words.
It's always the first thing you fucking learn.
And then they're ones that stick too, which is really, really crazy. It's like all the like bad words that I know, I heard them once or twice, and now I remember them forever. And I can't even remember the freaking numbers. You know, like those are arguably more important than how to say fuck. You know.
And you know what? I don't think so. I think knowing curse words in other languages very, very important, because that breaks ice, you know.
Well, and it can be funny because like, listen, man, fuck is a funny word. Like bad words are funny. They're funny when they're funny to say it, you know. Especially the really bad words, like the really bad ones, like the C word, you know.
Yeah.
Over in Australia, it's just like saying dude or whatever, I guess. But that's really fun to say. But that one, fuck will rarely offend somebody, but cunt will.
Yeah.
I've had many,
especially in America.
Especially in America, I've had at least twice that I can think of, a woman get very upset with me because he's not even directed at her. I called somebody else a cunt. And they're like, you can't use that word. Like, well, if I was being stupid to you, you know, you'd call me a dick. I'm not getting offended by that.
Exactly.
Who cares?
Like, yeah, it's so weird. Like the social norm and like the social like moral compass and gauge and like what?
Can you teach me some bad words in Korean?
Yeah, so the real easy one is shibai.
Shibai?
Shibai.
Shibai?
Shibai.
Shibai? Wait. Say it slowly.
Shibai.
Shibal? Is there L? Like
L? Yeah, L.
Shibal.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
He's like fuck.
Oh, okay.
Shibai means like fuck.
Nice.
It's like if you say shibai lom, no means dude. It's motherfucker, like you fucker.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Shibai. Like
shibai.
Yeah, that's great.
Puta madre.
Yeah.
You know. So I gotta wrap up here in like 10 minutes.
No problem, my dude. So really quickly on the subject of bad words, one that I learned recently is Russian, and I don't. If one of the two people listening is Russian, then correct me. But my understanding is, so the word is blyat, B-L-Y-A-T. I'm probably butchering that pronunciation.
Yeah.
But it's like, it mean, what is it? I just looked it up. It means something. It basically like it means to like sleep around, like basically but it's also used as like fuck, and it's used in a bunch of different ways. So it doesn't really have a meaning. It just is used. So you can just sort of pop it into a situation, and then it means whatever it means, which I think is really great. It's sort of a multi-tool as far as curse words go.
That's like this one expression in Spanish, especially. I'm pretty sure it's strictly Mexican, but it's like, say no mames means, you know, technically it means don't fuck with me. You know, like, oh, get out of here. You know, when you tell a joke and it's like a dirty joke and you say, oh no mames, get the fuck out of here. But literally what it means is quit taking your tits out and putting it in your mouth.
See, that's what I mean. It's so funny. It shouldn't be funny, but it's so fucking funny. Oh, I love that.
Curse words are fucking amazing.
Oh, so good.
Because to me, they're the most honest words, most honest expressions in that language, right? Because they don't come out, you know, predetermined. You know, they don't come out Like it's not thought out. It's just something that comes out instinctively. You
Right.
hurt your fucking foot and you go fuck. You know.
Yeah.
You know, you get in an accident, you go motherfucker. You get cut off. You're like, ah, that fucker, man, fucking bitch.
You were talking about like comedy earlier. There's a comedian named Ismo. He's Finnish, and he has a bit about how learning English, you know, was difficult mostly because of the word ass, and you know, like he's like, you know, sometimes ass means, you know, the whole thing. Like move your ass means move all of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But dumbass, it's actually everything but the ass really is dumb. The ass is not dumb. You know. And it's this 6-minute bit about how amazing the word ass is, and I fucking love it. It's one of the funniest things I've ever heard. So anyway, all right, Josh Lee, I'm gonna let you go, buddy.
What's his name? Ismo.
ISMO.
He's a dirty joke. Okay.
Cool, man. Thanks for having me on.
Dude, this was a blast. I'm sorry we didn't
fun talking to you.
We didn't talk about music at all.
No,
which is fine. We didn't get to the other things, but let's do this again soon, man.
Yeah, get to it another time.
Cool. Josh Lee's social media is in the description. All 0 of you go and check it out.
And if you guys are bored looking for something to do today, I will be on Larimer Square. They blocked off that entire street for patio patrons and stuff like that. And I'll be performing in the tent tonight between 5:30 and 8:30.
Awesome. I won't be able to make that, unfortunately, but that sounds great. Go check out Josh at Larimer Square. And yeah, that's it.
All right.
Any final words, Josh Lee?
No, everybody stay safe and stay kind. Now more than ever.
I love it. All right, Josh Lee, have a good day, sir. Good playing tonight.
All right, thanks, man.
Be
Talk
good.
to you later.